When you think about the 2025 NBA season, the big storylines probably come to mind first. But the real story wasn't just what the superstars were doing. It was in the moments you might have missed. The plays that felt so audacious, so clever, they were almost criminal. We're counting down the plays that prove the future of the league is deeper and more unpredictable than ever. We're talking about plays that bend the rules of physics and moments that rewrite what you thought was possible on a court. From summer league sparks to playoff daggers, the league's talent pool is overflowing. So let's get into the plays you might have missed, the ones that truly defined an exhilarating and at times simply illegal 2025 NBA season. Section 1, the underrated and overlooked. Let's start where most people aren't even looking. Summer League. It's usually about raw athleticism, but sometimes a player shows a flash of veteran savvy that's just criminal for a rookie. That's what Antonio Reeves did for the New Orleans Pelicans. It wasn't a huge dunk, but a quiet masterpiece of basketball IQ. Reeves was on the wing, and he saw the defense cheating out to the perimeter. He made a perfect backdoor cut that left his defender completely lost. The pass came, and as the help defender rotated over, Reeves, without missing a beat, twisted for a smooth wraparound layup. It's the kind of play that doesn't lead SportsCenter, but it's the foundation of a long NBA career. It was a quiet heist. 2 stolen points that showed the young guard was ready for the big stage long before the real season even began. From the quiet gyms of summer to the roar of a sold-out arena, our next play comes from a guy who has made a career of being a silent assassin. Norman Powell. The LA Clippers were in a dogfight with their rivals, the Denver Nuggets. The focus was, as always, on the big names: Kawhi, Harden, Jokic. But when the game got tight, it was Powell who stepped up to commit robbery in plain sight. The Clippers' offense had gone cold late in the fourth, and Denver was about to pull away. The ball swung to Powell in the corner. He'd been quiet most of the night, but great scorers have no memory. Without hesitating, he rose up and drilled the go-ahead three-pointer. It was a cold-blooded shot that hushed the Denver crowd and swung the momentum back to the Clippers. On a team full of future Hall of Famers, it was a reminder that sometimes the most dangerous player is the one you've forgotten about. Now, not all crimes happen on offense. Some of the most impressive feats come on the defensive end. Take Alex Caruso, who, after being traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder, found himself in a nightmare matchup against the Indiana Pacers, switched onto the towering Zach Edey. It was a mismatch that looked almost comical, a guard giving up nearly a foot to one of the biggest centers in the game. Edey got the ball deep in the post, and everyone in the building expected an easy basket. But Caruso just refused to lose. He used perfect leverage, swiped at the ball, and denied Edey the space to even get a shot up. As Edey gathered himself, Caruso, in a brilliant moment of hustle, tied him up and forced a jump ball. It didn't show up in the box score as a block or a steal, but it was a complete robbery of a possession. It was a play that screamed that heart can beat height, and that some guys are just built differently. Section 2. The posterizers and playmakers. There are subtle plays, and then there are plays that are a straight-up felony assault on the rim. And that's exactly what Christian Braun of the Denver Nuggets did against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The victim? None other than Rudy Gobert, the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. In the fourth quarter of a tense rematch of the previous year's playoff series, Braun found a lane and drove hard to the basket. Most players would pull up when they see the Stifle Tower at the rim. Braun had other ideas. He didn't just challenge Gobert, he detonated on him, throwing down a vicious two-handed dunk right over the league's best rim protector. The celebration was so intense that it led to a minor scuffle and double technicals. After the game, even Gobert had to give him respect, admitting, "He dunked on me." That was incredible, though he added he didn't appreciate the antics that followed. It was a dunk that was immediately in the conversation for Dunk of the Year, a moment of such disrespect it felt like it should have been illegal. If Braun's dunk was a crime of brute force, our next play was a work of art. It comes from the Golden State Warriors, but the artist wasn't one of the usual suspects. It was rookie Brandon Podziemski. After a mid-season trade for Jimmy Butler rejuvenated the Warriors, it was the young players who really stepped into the spotlight. In a play that showed what makes the Warriors system so beautiful, Podziemski drove hard into the lane, drawing the entire defense's attention. It looked like he was going up for a tough layup, but in midair, he twisted and threw a slick, no-look dime to a cutting teammate for an easy dunk. It was the kind of pass that requires incredible vision and creativity. It was a moment of basketball magic that showed the next generation of Warriors basketball is in good hands. From a pass that created a dunk to a dunk that was just pure power, we turn to Oklahoma City's Jalen Williams. J-Dub has been a huge part of the Thunder's rise, but one play this season showed just how explosive he is. Cutting hard along the baseline, Williams pointed to the sky. The lob came from his teammate, and Williams elevated, grabbing the ball with two hands and throwing it down with an authority that shook the entire backboard. It was pure electricity, a play that showcased not just his insane leaping ability, but his perfect timing. Dunks like that became his signature all season. They weren't just highlights, they were statements from a rising star, a forceful demonstration of the young, dynamic power brewing in Oklahoma City. Plays like that are what make this league so special. If you're enjoying this look at the most illegal moments of the 2025 season, do us a favor and hit that like button. And if you want to catch the rising stars before everyone else does, make sure you subscribe to Posterized Playback, where the legends live forever, and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Section 3. The Game Changers and History Makers. Some plays are just about pure will. They're moments of hustle that show you who a player really is. And that's what Ja Morant gave us this season. We all know about his gravity-defying dunks, but this play was different. After a scramble, Morant ended up on the floor, sitting near the free throw line. For anyone else, the play is dead, but Ja is not anyone else. While sitting on the court, he somehow secured the loose ball. Then, in one impossible motion, he faked a pass and then threw a perfect lob to a cutting Santi Aldama for a slam. The crowd, the commentators, his own bench, everyone was in disbelief. It was a play that shouldn't be possible, a combination of court vision and core strength that's on another level. It was the ultimate hustle play, and a perfect example of why Morant is still one of the most exciting players in the world. From hustle to history, the 2025 season gave us a moment that was literally a lifetime in the making. On October 22, 2024, in Los Angeles, LeBron James and his son Bronny James checked into a game for the Lakers against the Minnesota Timberwolves, becoming the first father-son duo to ever play together in an NBA game. The second they walked to the scorer's table, the crowd gave them a standing ovation, knowing they were witnessing history. LeBron, the league's all-time leading scorer, was living a dream he had talked about for years. He was seen giving his son one last piece of advice before they stepped onto the court together for 2.5 minutes in the first half. In that short time, Bronny grabbed a rebound and took his first NBA shot while LeBron looked on, not just as a teammate, but as a father. It was a surreal moment that bent the timeline of the league, connecting its legendary past with its unfolding future on the same court. The future of the league was on display all season, and no one encapsulated that better than Bub Carrington of the Washington Wizards. Carrington, a 19-year-old rookie, had already done the impossible, becoming the only rookie to play in all 82 games. But he saved his best for the very end. In the final game of the season against the Miami Heat, the Wizards were down 1 with just seconds on the clock. The ball went straight to the teenager. Carrington took control, navigated through traffic, and as the buzzer sounded, lofted a high, arching floater off the glass that dropped in for the win. It was a moment of unbelievable poise from a player who wasn't even old enough to drink. The shot was so good it almost felt criminal for a rebuilding team, as it slightly worsened their draft lottery odds. But on that night, a 19-year-old kid stole a victory and announced his arrival in the most dramatic way possible. But when you talk about clutch, you have to talk about Tyrese Halliburton. His performance in high-pressure moments this season wasn't just great, it was historic. It was a crime spree of last-second heroics. Statistically, he had one of the most efficient clutch shooting seasons ever recorded. He shot a staggering 13 for 15 on shots to either tie or take the lead in the final 2 minutes of games this season, an absurd 87% clip. His run of game-defining shots in the playoffs put him in the company of legends like LeBron James and Reggie Miller. He hit a go-ahead floater to clinch the series against the Bucks. He hit a shot at the buzzer to force overtime against the Knicks. His season culminated in a performance so consistently clutch, it's been called one of the greatest runs in the history of the sport. Halliburton's season was a masterclass in thriving under pressure, a series of thefts in plain sight that proved he is one of the most cold-blooded players in the entire league. From Antonio Reeves's subtle brilliance in Summer League to Tyrese Halliburton's historic clutch campaign, the 2025 season was a showcase of talent that runs deeper than ever. We saw Christian Braun challenge the league's best defender and win. We saw Bub Carrington cap an Iron Man rookie season with a buzzer beater. And we saw the James family literally rewrite the history books. These weren't just highlights, they were statements. They were moments when rising stars and underrated vets proved that the story of the NBA is written by anyone with the skill and the guts to seize the moment. These plays felt illegal because they bent the rules of what we thought was possible. They remind us that in a league this talented, you can never look away, because the next unbelievable history-making and downright criminal play is always just one possession away. So what do you think? Which of these illegal plays was your favorite? And who is the one rising star from this season that you believe is destined for greatness? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.